Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Popby Realty Podcast. I am Matthew Aguirre. I'm a broker associate with Popby Realty, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Rome Gregorio, who is one of the co-founders of Popby Realty, and then also Cody Posey, who is one of our agents. Guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again here today. What we wanted to talk about, we wanted to reach out to people who are thinking about getting their license or newly licensed, about to take their test, whatever it's going to be. So essentially for new agents. So if you're a new real estate agent, this podcast is just for you. So make sure you listen to the whole thing. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you just watch the whole thing. Anyway, what we wanted to talk about is what agents, especially a new agent, should be looking for in a brokerage. Okay. I've been with, a couple of brokerages, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is my 4th brokerage. About over 10 years. I've been with one brokerage 2 times. Is it 4? I think. Anyway, I was a new agent back in 2016. Cody, you're about to finish up 2 years, correct?
Yes, correct. I'm about to finish up on my 2nd year here this April.
Okay. And then Rome, other than this Popby, whenever you founded it, you were just with like 2 others, or?
Yeah, I spent, my first decade or so working together with 2 of the largest franchise, groups, and a lot of good systems and procedures that, they put into play back then. And so, yeah, had some, pretty structured training in the beginning.
Okay. Cody, I want to start with you. Whenever you were first getting licensed, what were you looking for in a brokerage?
The biggest things I was looking for, because I was new and I come from the military aspect of things, is development. It's like I wanted to understand this, like what real estate agents really did, what our jobs were, what they entail, but also understanding how to relate to the consumer too as well. So understanding all that, it's one thing to generate business and learning how to generate business from the sales side, but to really to kind of get the background of really what our desired outcome is as real estate agents. That was my biggest driver, is to understanding the background of the business of the people first. So development was key for me.
Okay. And I can tell you, I didn't know what to expect whenever I joined my first brokerage, because I didn't join it for the brokerage. I joined it because I had a friend of mine that was with that brokerage, and she told me, hey, go get your real estate license. You're good with people. And then I was on her team. So, but looking back, some of the things that I wish I had had is just support. And then the training showing me how to be a realtor, because I didn't get that. I went through Champion School of Real Estate. I took my real estate courses. I passed those. I passed the test the first time. That's all fine and dandy. That pretty much teaches you how not to get sued. But I didn't have the training on how to be a realtor, how to run a business, how to generate business. I was given the just kind of the phrases everybody gives, like, oh, you need listings to last. You need, listings, leads, and leverage. I'm like, okay, well, one, what is leverage? And how do I get listings? And yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things with me that happened is it's the development. That's why I go back, all the development inside is like everything else. It's like when you're born and everything else, you don't even know how to wipe your own butt. It's the best way I could put it, and everything else. So it's like the biggest thing I can remember on coming out of real estate school from where I took it at is, don't put anything into paragraph 12. Leave that paragraph alone. I don't know how many times that was really enunciated. It's like, don't be your own attorney and stuff like that. So yeah, I was very familiar with the contracts and understand the contract aspect of it. But again, that was more or less kind of prepared as like, hey, how do you mitigate yourself from suit? But what it really never did a very good job at, and it's not really the purpose of real estate school, in my opinion. It's just kind of like basic training in the Army. It's there to teach you the skills necessary you need to be able to survive. So that's why we focus on discipline, shooting, physical, and some aspects of training. Same thing with real estate, it's like you need to understand the aspects of the contracts, understand like real estate language and stuff like going into, I didn't understand like the difference between property and real property, fixtures, stuff like that, and actually understand like when I'm looking at title documents or stuff for some of my buyer clients, and they asked me what encumbrance was. I had no clue what all that is. Mm-hmm. That's the purpose of the real estate school. Now, when you come into a brokerage and you're looking for the brokerage, you're looking to take that next step and like really is like, okay, I have this knowledge now from the real estate school. So how do I take this, combine it, not get sued, but learn how to be a business owner? And I think a lot of times, I think for a lot of new agents, one of the best ways to sometimes search, and we talked about this earlier and everything else, is like, do like team versus no team. Do I try to go solo, or how do I pick which? Because like when you step in and you interview with the brokerage, and no offense to any brokerage out there, but they are just a salesperson. They are there to sell you your brokerage. They're there to try to sell you their value. And once they have you wrapped in sometimes, then it's like, well, you need to go to this course or you need to go to that course without somebody sitting down with you. And again, you're going to hear me relate this back to the Army and everything else. Like when you have soldiers, especially new soldiers that are struggling in the Army, you have to take them one-on-one. You have to be able to develop them. Now, there is a little bit of responsibility that does fall on new agents because it's one thing to come to training, but how often in the office as a new agent do we go in and we ask for that help for whatever situation, or like, hey, Bob, so you're making all these phone calls. Why are you making these phone calls? The problem is like, if we don't have that start off, like that structure that really defines and to put everything in a routine for a young real estate agent, they really begin to struggle. Because if I guarantee you, if you were to ask 25 agents how they generate their business, yep, probably 20 of them are going to come with different answers.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of the same way with. Oh, go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
I love some of the things that you guys are talking about because, as an instructor, I teach at Champion School of Real Estate, and so I see the faces of new or future agents. There's really only two dynamics in that classroom. It's number one, you've got to, this is adult learning that we're teaching, right? So when you come to real estate school, you're learning the basics in order to function as a licensee, pass the state exam, pass the national exam. That's essentially what you're doing. And there's usually two types of students in there. It's number one, it's a second generation career person. They've worked all their life. In Cody's, he's coming out of the military, gets his license. And Matt, in your case, you worked prior law enforcement before becoming an agent. Mm-hmm. And so you're seeing students come into the real estate space having experienced life in another category, right? And so these are adult learners. They come in, they've got something to offer, and that's part of the exciting part for me. It's one of the exciting things for me to see the different talents that come into my classroom, because there are people who have a lot of natural talent or a lot of acquired talents from their prior careers. And that's one category. And then the other category is the brand new first generation, first career person who we would think, really doesn't know a whole lot of anything because they hadn't spent any time in the career field, practicing any kind of craft. And so real estate becomes their first craft. And so, those two persons have a great amount of difference, or a vast amount of difference between their knowledge base, just the life experiences. And so that's the beauty of real estate, is that you bring different life experiences together to forge a unit or a team that has certain specialties naturally, because they work together. Like in Cody's case, you get a referral for somebody who's a military relocation person. It would make sense to pair them up with Cody because they can talk shop all day long. And in your case, with law enforcement and such. And I know you guys have many more skills than that, but a lot of times that category of blending people in with their natural ability to connect with agents is just an awesome thing from my perspective.
Yeah, and so I was going to touch on what Cody said is coming from, like you said, Rome, coming from a law enforcement background. So, I mean, I spent 7 months in an academy full time, Monday through Friday, like 8 to 5. But that was just giving us the foundation. That was it. And then once we got hired on with the department, then we have to go through field training. And that could be anywhere from, what was mine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 months. And then some of them are even longer now because this was back in 2009 when I did mine. But then you get the practical hands-on learning, practical exercises. And you go in there and you're putting all your knowledge that you learned in the academy or you learned, in your school to the test. And, in a real world experience, and you've got somebody that's guiding you through it. Now, do we need, a training program once you get on with a brokerage that's, 5 to 7 months long? Probably not. But having something to where you can be with somebody who's teaching you how to run a business, how to generate leads, how to get it all on your own and not be what we consider as a dependent agent, because you have dependent agents, interdependent agents, and then independent agents. So a dependent agent is somebody who just relies on whether it be a team member or buying leads, somebody that's going to get them leads because they're not generating it themselves. And it could be because maybe they are a little antisocial and they don't like being in front of a camera like we're doing. But it could be just because they're brand new and they don't know how to, right? You have interdependent agents, and that's where a lot of people kind of sit. A lot of agents do, where you can generate leads, but you might rely on your brokerage to generate some, brokerage or a team, something like that. And then you have independent agents who don't need the brokerage to help them generate leads and whatnot. They've got their systems, they got their sphere, whatever it's going to be, their resource is going to bring their leads in and get them business. But we really want those kind of the ones in the middle, those interdependent agents. And because you don't want to be a dependent agent, because if something happens with your brokerage and your lead system, your lead revenue or your lead stream kind of gets cut off, then what are you going to do? It dries up. But yeah, so that's what's great about, like with Popby in our live circles, is because you've got people that are going to be here and training you, walking you along with it, like mentors in the beginning and then throughout your career, as much as you want. Because with the live circles, you participate as much as you want to. Nobody's going to hold your hand and nobody's going to tell you, hey, you have to join a live circle meeting, especially like if you're a buyer's agent or if you want to list or lean heavy more on listings. Nobody's going to hold your hand and force you to do it, but you're encouraged to, and it's going to help benefit you, because with the live circles, you're meeting with people that are walking the walk, doing everything that you're doing or that you want to do, and then you're all collaborating and helping each other out.
Yeah, so, and Matt, I really want to cut in, because it's like, as you talk about that, you kind of like talk about the journey that I kind of did, because I started the team, and the one thing that I had the issue with the team sometimes is that everything that was being provided, it was essentially developing me to be very dependent on everything coming in there versus learning how to generate my own business. And I'm not saying the team leader didn't teach me how to do that. I'm not saying that at all. But when a team is like providing or paying for it, you are going to feel intrinsically responsible that you owe somebody something within that team and everything else. And that kind of creates kind of a complex where it's hard. It makes it very, very difficult from you to even get from the dependent to the the interdependent phase, where you're kind of like in between there. And that's when I made the jump when I left my team, same brokerage, but I left my team and went to be the independent, where I was sitting down just day by day, just getting the mentorship that I need to really help set my business up for success. But also, it really opened up the realm of possibilities of what you can do and what you can actually expect to do within real estate. And what I really caution people out there is, like, as you're looking for that mentorship, you have to be very, very careful for yourself. It's like, okay, is this person like trying to make me, and I'm not saying they're purposely doing it, but are they making me solely reliant on them versus are they developing me to be in real estate? And that's one thing that really drove me over here to Popby Realty is the fact the whole life circles, the whole group. So maybe I'm strong at AI, so I work with AI, or I work with the tech stacks. Maybe I'm a cold caller. I mean, I'm definitely not a cold caller, but maybe I'm a cold caller. Well, guess what? I mean, Joe Smo over here has been cold calling, and that's how he's generated most of my leads. Maybe it's mailers, maybe it's this, but bottom line, you have all these different circles where not only can you learn, because even me with what I do with the AI stack, I learn from the social media marketers. I also learn how to do mailers, and I've taken all these little pieces. So as I begin to stack my business, that's how it becomes reoccurring. And that's how you develop a successful business model, not just doing the same thing over and over again, but expanding yourself out.
Yeah. And Rome, you're an instructor at the Champion School of Real Estate here in San Antonio. So what are you seeing from the students over there? Do y'all talk about that, like what you should expect when the brokerage, or do they let you know what they're kind of expecting or what they're looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. But to take Cody's example, I love what he's ushering into this conversation, because there's so much academia that we have to teach. It's a requirement by TREC for us to make sure that our students understand the contracts, contract law, agency, and all the things that come along with it. That is to demonstrate competency. So the time you spend with me in a classroom is far different than the time you spend with me in a life circle, because in the classroom, that academia is the basic black and white that you have to learn and know, because TREC says that's standard information. That's basic information for a licensed agent to be able to possess that knowledge. The transition is this mind shift that Cody was describing, where I also like to teach our students that you have to treat what you're doing as a CEO of Me Incorporated. You're stepping into entrepreneurship, and that's something that we maybe don't have so graphically outlined for you in the process of getting your license. This is the skill set. This is the talent. This is the community. This is the collaboration you've got to do and work together with other leaders, other business owners. The first thing that you're going to learn when you come out of a real estate school and get your license is that you're an independent contractor, right? That means you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. You are the person who's in charge of your administrative duties, your sales and productivity, marketing and advertising, accounting. Let's not forget that one, right? So you're the division head for all of those categories underneath this company called Me Incorporated, and you're responsible for all that. And no man is an island, and you really need to surround yourself with people who can bring that level of competency and help you grow and help you elevate your game from where you start. As most people will tell you, as they go through the process of spending all their time, all that money in getting their license, and then paying their MLS fees, joining a brokerage, signs, all that investment that you put in. At the end of the day, somebody's got to be able to set a roadmap for success, and that's the projection of joining the right team or the right brokerage, is to make sure that you get in a group that you're surrounded by people who want to nurture and help you grow to become masterful at this craft. Because the funny thing is, we call real estate a practice, right? We're practicing real estate. And so what that alludes to is that you can actually get better at what it is that you're doing. So,
oh yeah,
love this.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking back, because I went from, that my initial brokerage, I went to a second one, and that second one that I went to had an actual program that taught you, is geared towards brand new agents, or maybe agents that had been agents for a little bit, but didn't have that many transactions under their belt. And it showed you how to generate leads, how to retain business, how to follow up on your leads, all this. It taught you how to be a realtor, and that was great. Since then, because that was back in 2018 when I switched to them, it was all in person. After COVID, they went all online, and I don't think they're as as structured as they were. It's not the same. I don't know, but they still have it, but it's still just like kind of like pushing it out there to the masses. You have that class that you have to go through for a few weeks, and then it's the training for the masses. So while we have these life circles for brand new agents and everything at Popby Realty, you're still going to get that you can call it continuing education regarding your niche, your strong skills, whatever it's going to be, anything that you want to really get into. If you want to get into luxury eventually, or commercial, or farm and ranch, whatever it's going to be, we'll have those life circles for each one of those. So if you're a brand new agent that is wondering where you should join, what you should look for in a brokerage, then you should really consider Popby Realty. You can go to joinpopby.com. We'll be happy to schedule a call with you about that. So, you have anything else, Rome?
No, I think that hits the nail right on the head, Matt. Is that the end journey isn't getting your license. So when somebody is called a new agent, they could have 30, 40 years of experience having worked in nursing or accounting or something. So they bring value to the table. And one of the things that I think is an important value proposition for us is that we want to leverage your skills. If you've got skills to bring to the table, by all means, we never want to allow somebody who has that ability and that willingness, that heart of, that servant's heart, if you will, and have that person underutilized. I mean, if you're an expert in your field, that's going to create a bigger net for us to reach out and support more clientele, because we're going to have a bandwidth of people who can do different things and bring different levels of communication skills, negotiations, experience. And so, man, I just love that about us.
Yeah. Cody?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing. One of the biggest things like Popby, the most hardest thing to get is the accessibility. And when you come into the virtual office, there's always going to be someone here to help answer your questions. And it's not so much of like, well, can you schedule an appointment and everything else? Like, no, if I see Rome, if he has the availability sign on his avatar, I'm going right up there, boom, pop on the screen, just like I'm there in the office. And that's one of those things that gets harder and harder to get when you're just in the regular like brokerage office. And as we continue to expand, especially across the state of Texas, it's going to be too easy for me to reach up to Joanne Gray Realtor up in Dallas area. Is like, hey, have you ever encountered this issue? Or, hey, how are you doing so well on Instagram? What is your target? But just being able to have those conversations, not just with people that are in this area, but also understand what people's success outside of the area. So guys, with the virtual office and everything, like the strong point to get the mentorship, and just to get the shadowing and everything that you need. Highly come join us and come take a look at joinpopby.com.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today. Again, if you're considering getting your license, or you're freshly licensed or still in school, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you. So go to joinpopby.com. You can fill out the intake form, and somebody will be in touch. So again, thanks, guys. This has been the Popby Realty Podcast. I think this is episode number 5. And we're just going to keep on going. All right. Until next time, y'all take care. We'll see you in the next one.